spoke that the single.
Okay, so Shola is the founder of Open Innovation Access, an organization that is dedicated to making impact through innovation in Africa and further.
Okay, I'm going. Okay, this is Lydia. You're out again. So let me just finish. I guess she was introducing Shola. Shola is the founder of Open Innovation Access, an organization that is dedicated to making impact through innovation in Africa. For the past 10 years, Shola has helped professionals and business find growth and reach their potential. Shola is one of our mentors here, and she believes the effectiveness of a key source of wealth for the next generation across Africa, and is dedicated to working with the next generation to position them well. So mentors, founders, first, I would like to apologize for the network problem here. I wouldn't want to keep apologizing, but I guess I wouldn't say we understand, but apologies once again. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. When Lady A comes in, she would give us all we need to know. Now we're going to have this, of course, we know is a mentor progress review session. And we have 7 founders left in the program. And we got a mail that gave each founder about 3 mentors to review. On ground now, we have some mentors not available, probably for obvious reasons. So we're probably going to make do with what we have. So I'll be giving us the information on who will be, reviewing each founder. We already have it, so it's not changing. The only difference here now is that Chukwuemeka wouldn't be around, so Akindayo is on ground, and Akindayo will take the place of Chukwuemeka for these sessions. And the plan here is we're going to have each founder be given 3 minutes to pitch. He has the option of doing his pitch deck for each company, 5 minutes for the deck, mandatory, and then would have the mentors review. So 5 minutes per founder, 5 minutes per founder, and then the mentor, if the mentors could stick to reviewing for 3 minutes for each of them. Now, it's important that I'll share the hot seats, or the founders, the mentors have the hot seats. You could review. And also, I would encourage this. Founders will be rated on 3 areas. Note this, please. Founders will be rated on 3 areas. The first area is the progress with their product offering. And the second area is their skill of presentation. And the third area is the completeness of their model. I'll take that again. 3 areas each founder will be rated on. First, progress with their product offering. Second, skill of presentation. And third, rate them on the completeness of their model. And we're familiar with our rating system. It's 1, 2, no 3, please. 1, 2, 4, and 5. So you rate the founders based on that. 1, 2, 4, and 5. I'm sure there won't be any question at this point. If there are any questions, I'm sure there are no questions anyway. So,
real quick question. I do.
Okay, please.
Do you want us in the system to also, as mentors, rate everyone, or just the people that were assigned to rate on the document you sent earlier?
No, you could rate everyone, please.
Got it.
Yes, you could rate everyone. It's just the feedback that would involve the 3 people you have. So I'll be calling only the mentors to give feedback. But rating, please, mentors, rate everyone. And for those who will be providing feedback, I'll be on ground to also take notes. So when you finish your feedback, you could quickly rate them. Let's have the ratings immediately. So it's just a backup method so that in case I'm not encouraging mentors not to rate, but if you don't rate, then I have your ratings and I could do it, at a later time. But please, you are encouraged to rate, and you just have to rate. So if there are no questions, we're moving on quickly so that we could have a lot of time on our hands. We have the rating link. Let's, Catherine will share the rating links again for the mentors. So founders, are you ready? I wouldn't, that's actually a rhetorical question. I know you're ready. You've gotten your list. I guess you're all prepared. I'll be timing you from here, and you have just 5 minutes for your presentation. And I'll be starting immediately. I won't take that in the order in which they come. I'll take it in the order in which I have the mentors ready to rate. So, Abubakar Ghana, are you ready?
I just knew I would be first.
Yeah, you're Abubakar and your name is AB.
Yep.
So,
yep.
And also gladly all your mentors are on ground for the rating. So
cool.
So you're going to be sharing your screen.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I see your screen, not yet. Okay. For Abubakar Ghana, we'll be having Bade Aluko, Shola Adekanye, and Daniel Steves giving us feedback. Bade Aluko, Shola Adekanye, and Daniel Steves giving us feedback. So, Abubakar, are you ready for us?
Yep.
Okay. So your time starts now.
Right. So my company Outliers is creating an open source online learning platform to help the over 20 million unemployed youth in Nigeria start and grow SME businesses while positioning them for funding. The main problem we're trying to mitigate is the fact that there's a huge job deficit in the country. It all started when I was in NYSC, and I met a lot of people who didn't know what they wanted to do after their NYSC years, because there weren't many jobs available then, and unfortunately that's still the case today. In addition, we have over 100 million people who are 0 to 35 years old, of which we have over 30 million of them currently considered to be in the labor force. And unfortunately, over 20 million of them are unemployed. Moreover, technology constantly changes markets and makes some jobs redundant or obsolete. So our solution is a simple open source platform in which professionals from different industries can transfer their skills by selling and creating online courses on our platforms. That's where we'd essentially be able to show our users the different locally available opportunities to them in the hopes of getting them to become self-employed job suppliers. In addition, we hope that the open source feature would spark competition amongst course creators, helping us highlight changes in market trends. So we have a dedicated courses section in which users would be able to see the different locally available opportunities available to them. In addition, we also have a dedicated interaction section, which we call the online workshop, in which users would have access to exclusive events, mentors and serious pairs, agencies for spaces and staff, and the cherry on top of the cake, funding opportunities. We're not the first open source online learning platform. We're also not the first locally relevant teaching institution. We're the first to combine the two while providing funding opportunities for our users and access to instructors in a way that's beneficial for both parties. So we didn't want to basically launch without any product to sell on the platform. That if that were the case, we'd basically launch and wait for people to basically create the courses and earn commission from them. So we decided to basically create our own courses before launch. And entrepreneurship being a very broad thing, we decided to start from one corner and build our way up. We chose the food industry to start with. And when I say food, I'm referring to businesses such as restaurants, catering services, and bakeries, etc. We created a campaign called the Foodie Early Ambassador Program, in which we've been able to generate leads of people interested in starting those type of businesses. And we've also been able to find out what the goals and fears of those leads are. We found that over 70% of our 50 respondents have said that their biggest obstacles to starting are capital or finance related. And as such, that has inspired us to see how we can mitigate that for our users through social investment institutions such as Medin, who we are currently in talks with. Overall, throughout the process, we've also been able to partner with an award-winning PR company called PR Nigeria, and we've built a community of over 50. So our business model is simple. We have course sales as well as subscriptions to the online workshop. As I mentioned earlier, we intend to create our own courses as well as earn commissions from the open sourced courses that people would sell on the platform. Our SOM is 14% of the unemployed labor force market, who we assume to be in the middle class or above. And interestingly, we've seen people outside our target market express interest in our offerings, such as people who already have businesses up and running. So our go-to-market strategy is we intend to basically pre-sell our courses to our existing leads who we intend to nurture. The idea is that we get feedback from them right before we actually produce the courses. And then once we finish producing the courses, we will then basically launch the courses with the actual platform itself. And at that point, anyone can come and create and sell a course, but also pursue sponsorships from social investment institutions such as Medin and the likes. And from then we'd basically rinse and repeat what we've done with the food industry with other industries. And then lastly, launch our online workshop subscription. We intend to basically get 3,000 users by the end of 18 months, and that would get us a revenue of around $200,000. Here's our team of 6, and we are asking for $100,000 to reach 3,000 MAU in 18 months. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Abubakar. So we'll be getting feedback from, like I said, Bade, Shola, and Daniel.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm in the US, so it's good morning for me. It's good to see you guys again in the new year. Abubakar, first of all, I like the pitch, I like the pace. Your presentation is good. You definitely have a good understanding of how to move your deck from one to the other. Your background story is also not a bad one. Being someone who had the problem yourself, so it's a good backstory. The area that I would really love to hear more from you, because you show us the slide of your team, but you just glance over it. So basically, there's no reason, there's no basis for us to understand why you are uniquely qualified to be doing this, because what you are trying to do is a specialized area. I mean, creating courses is not a snap and go. You have to have the skill, you have to have the experience, you have to have subject matter expert to create a course for somebody else to come and learn. And why you created a good pitch, but the critical element where you're supposed to tell us why you are capable of doing this, you skip through it, and I do not know why you did that. So that is quite important. Of course, directly aligned to that is the fact that online courses or community for jobs is pretty common. Okay, so it will be interesting for an investor to want to know again what differentiates you, right? When you're comparing yourself with other people, there has to be a differentiator. And you should highlight those things that makes you different, that makes you stand out, because you're asking investors to come and invest and believe in your future, but they have to know why you. So those are the key areas that I think I picked up during your presentation. Outside that, I wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you, Bade. You want to rate or you do it at the back end?
Sorry. Oh, okay. I didn't know I was supposed to rate it. Okay. I'm rating Abubakar 4.
Okay, across all 3.
Oh no. Okay, sorry. Across presentation, I'll give him 5.
Okay.
Across completeness of his idea, I think that's the 3rd one, right? I'll give him a 4.
Okay.
And what's the first one again?
Progress with product offering.
Okay, progress 2, I'll give him 4 because he has some traction, and that traction within the time space in which they started is a good traction. So I'll give him a 4 as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. So Shola, Shola, you're rating him next.
Sure. Abubakar, it's good to see you again. I think you did a great job today. I like how you presented today. I think it was very complete, and I like the pace. It did seem a little that you were going a little bit too fast because you wanted to keep to time, which is understandable. You have 5 minutes. So I would say that, as you go forward, try to time yourself well enough to where you're spending enough time on the slides that matter, and the slides that don't really matter as much, you can just glance over those. But overall, I thought it was a good pitch. I think you still need to work a little bit more on the messaging because you are not creating courses going forward by yourself. I mean, on an ongoing basis, well, in your pilot, you're creating courses just to have some content on day one. But going forward, it's an open source platform where different people with skill sets, influencers, and people, professionals will be creating their courses. You will just be doing quality management at that point in time and ensuring that those courses and the content is solid enough to add value to your audience. So I think that still needs to be clear. You just need to make that a little clearer. I like that you've now made progress with Smedim. That's really helpful, just because if people can't even afford to come on your platform to afford some of those courses, there's funding available. So there's really no excuse at the end of the day, and there's really no barrier holding people up from really getting all these trainings and being equipped to be able to add value to the economy. I like this area. I think overall, I like the impact because this is where wealth is created. Wealth creation is what's going to drive GDP. And what you're doing is going to really help. So I like it overall. I would rate you 4 across the board. I would give you 5, but I would rate you 4 just because the completeness of the presentation. It felt like I would have loved to see a team where you would just spend time there. You did spend time on your competitive landscape, but it was a little too fast. And I think you still need to come across really projecting what this Outliers is about. I think it was missed just by this much. So I will give you 4 across the board. I think you did a great job today.
Thanks. And lastly, Steve.
Daniel, yeah. My mute is off. Yes, good.
Yes, yes.
So Abubakar, nice to see you again as well. We've had a few mentoring sessions. I'm going to echo what you just heard and say that you're speaking too fast. Part of this is because you have to remember not everybody is easy to. I've worked with lots and lots of Nigerians, so I'm getting more accustomed to the accent. But for some people, it can be as hard as listening to a Scottish person. So slow it down a little bit. I told somebody in a mentoring session the other day when he was doing his pitch for me, I said, slow it down. If you have to take a slide out so that you have time to breathe, do so. Right? Instead of just coming across at 100 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour, depending on where you are. Couple of specific points. One, NYSC is not known outside of Nigeria, right? So don't just plan over it. Maybe actually just the first time you mention it, maybe expand it or say that the Youth Service Corps or something like this, because you will have an audience beyond Nigeria that you always want to. The same with the speaking, you want them to be able to know what you're talking about. One of my own pet peeves, and you said it at least 3 times in the course of 30 seconds, try to stop saying basically, right? So this comes from, if you slow down a little bit, then you won't put in extraneous words, just like the other gentleman I was talking about was saying a lot. And if you breathe a little bit and get yourself a little more comfortable, you remove words that are extra, and that after a while, all I'm hearing is, or I'm listening for you to say basically the next time. And yeah, I'm being nitpick critical, because at this stage in your journey through FI, it's time to be able to give you more and more specific details. On your slide deck, you had October, November, December, which we can in January assume was last year. But as you move forward, it'll be nice to have a date, a year on that. And it would be great to have things looking forward as well. I also want to point out that you're not really SaaS. Software as a service tends to be a business to business offering where they use your software to accomplish something internally. But the as a service thing is kind of a nice ring to it. So you could say courses or education as a service, but it's not really SaaS. I'm going to echo our first feedback that you had from Buddy and say that touching on the LinkedIn profile, touching on the owner's page, I would say that each of them should have a LinkedIn profile. There's a connection to this as well, as that every single person that you have listed on the team needs to have the company listed on the LinkedIn profile, and you need to have a business page on LinkedIn that they all connect to. And this just gives a more complete picture to somebody who's looking at it from outside. So if I click on your profile on your slide deck or on your website, then it takes me to LinkedIn. It allows me to look at you. When I look down your experience, I want to see your company logo on a page, and I click on it. It takes me to an Outliers business page, which has a little description and a link to your main website. So that allows you to take better and leverage better the opportunity that social media will give you. The revenue screen that you put up on your slide deck is a little bit fuzzy to see. So work on getting a better image to replace the one that's currently there. And the other thing that one of the other mentors mentioned was the source of your courses. And I've done some of this, and I'm doing this with a client right now around courseware. So this SaaS, as you're calling it, is really, you're delivering a learning management solution. And you should probably consider taking a look at some of the opportunities that are out there to get either free and or white labeled courses that you can augment your main core of courses with. That'll allow you to scale a little bit more rapidly. It'll allow you to have more opportunities for the different learners to have better selections or a larger source of selections to choose from when they come in, which is a good way to retain people. And you can also have, probably it would be good to have a roadmap. That's why I talk about the future part with the date, because that allows not only the people that come to your site, but the investors themselves to see that it's not just this. This is what we're doing now. And as we grow, this kind of gives a feeling of confidence to the listener that you have plans to go beyond where you are. And when you get the investment money and the revenue, where are you going to spend that money? So you can either have like a use of funds, but even more importantly, give me milestones about where that use of funds is going to take you as you go forward in the future. And I'd give you, even though you went too fast, I'd say your presentation has greatly improved since the first ones that I heard from you, and I'd give you a 4 across the board as well. Thank you.
Thank you there. Thank you, guys. Abubakar, I guess you've noted everything. Great. So next on the line, Binley Oluwadara.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll be getting feedback from Lavina, Owuno, and Akindayo. Founders, remember, the rating link is there. You rate across 3 areas. Rate progress with product offerings, rate the skill of presentation, and also rate the completeness of the model. Thank you. Okay, are you ready for us?
Yes, sir.
And your 5 minutes starts now.
Good day, everyone. My name is Ben Oluwadara. I'm co-founder of SMS Protect. I'm here with my co-founding team and my co-founder, Ogutu Ashiafalabi, is here. SMS Protect is a SaaS mobile application to mitigate the loss of financial credit and financial assets due to the increase in phishing attacks. Our mission statement is to give back control of data and information. Statistics are showing that in the last years, there's been an increase in the rate of successful phishing attacks. And this has caused an increase in the loss of assets, financial record, and personal record of people. Other statistics shows that 85% of phishing attacks on mobile devices do not involve email. And mobile devices are the major way Nigerians store their financial records and perform financial activities. Our solution, SMS Protect, is going to be a SaaS mobile application that is going to be able to detect these phishing attacks and reduce the rate of successful phishing attacks by notifying the users of these attacks. It has an inbuilt feature with a deep learning model that will be retrained within 2 to 3 months to improve the accuracy and also to make sure it's up to date with smishing patterns. And also a URL checker that checks the links in the SMS and make sure that the links are not fraudulent attacks, are not linked to fraudulent attackers. And also the URL checker will be updated within 2 to 3 months to make sure it's up to date with recent URL links attackers use. This is a user journey where the user downloads the application, they're able to check their messages, and also they get notifications on fraudulent attacks that get into their phone. We're able to test our product, and it was able to detect smishing attacks that were sent to the users. Our target markets are smartphone users, mobile network providers, and also SMEs. We did a competitive analysis, and we realized that, and we found some of our competitors in Nigeria. We differentiate ourselves from our competitors by one, checking the SMS and not the number, but the SMS that says, the SMS and the content of the SMS. Also, our deep learning model allows our application to be better in accuracy and performance. And also by retraining our model, we're able to increase the accuracy of the mobile application. Our business model is a freemium model, and it has a premium, gold, and SME plan. The premium and the gold are for individual customers, and the SME plan are for businesses that want to use the mobile application to safeguard their staffs. Our marketing strategy, by partnering with social engineering awareness communities, we're able to reach people that have been victims of these attacks, and also people that are aware, and also people that want to protect themselves from this kind of attacks. Also, partnering with banks and telecoms, we're able to reach more people and more customers and give them our application. We plan to become a full-fledged cybersecurity platform by 2024 and have data insurance and data recovery by 2025. My team and I have over a decade of experience in data science, backend development, software engineering, and all that aspects of computer science. We did a financial projection, and we saw that in the next 18 months, with about 5,000 users, we'll be able to generate $150,000 in revenue. We are asking for $350,000 to kickstart our marketing campaign and also to maintain and scale our infrastructure to handle more requests and customers. Thank you.
Thank you. I see our mentors seem to have, I hope you guys are not, going too fast. Anyway, that's not for me to decide. We'll be getting feedback from Lavina, Owuno, and Akindayo. I guess it's always ladies first.
Thanks. So thank you so much for the pitch. It was clear for me from a technical background. Your niche is also quite clear. One piece of advice that I'd give you is possibly use a lot simpler language. I know that it's a technical aspect and it's a sort of technical pitch or a solution that you're going after. But and this is to all founders here. Keep in mind that you have to be presenting to anyone with any level of understanding in any audience, right, at any given point in time. So, just as a matter of keeping that in the back of your mind, try to maybe simplify some of those sort of keywords that you've used. In terms of the model, I would suggest that, you either utilize something that is a B2B or a B2B2C, right? And state that very clearly, rather than kind of, saying, yes, we're focusing on the end consumer. They're the ones using your product, but they're not your customers. And that differentiator needs to come across very clearly. Yeah, but I mean, I'm happy to kind of do some office hours with you or, sort of help you through the journey if you do require it. But well done, though.
Lavina, Owuno? Oh, sorry, Lavina, you want to rate him across those three?
There we go, mute button. Okay, yeah, so in terms of the product offering, I said it was a 4. In terms of the presentations, it was a 4. And in terms of the completeness of the model, a 4, so overall.
I didn't get that. The completeness of the model.
A 4.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Oh no, you're up next.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good evening. So thanks for that presentation and deck. There's one thing in particular I liked, which was your slide count. I always encourage to have a slide count when you're doing presentations, so your audience knows how far along they are. So that was a good touch. On the things that can be improved, I thought you spoke quite quickly, and I also thought that maybe you could have a bit more intonation to your voice. I felt it was a little bit flat, so it didn't feel very engaging. Lavina's point about the technicality, absolutely. I mean, you spoke about smishing, and I'll be perfectly honest, like I'm familiar with phishing or phishing, so I'm not sure how it's pronounced. And I guess the SM is from SMS, but most people are not familiar with what this means, right? So you always have to do that. And with technology in particular, the guys that win always make it very simple. Like no matter how complex anything is, ChatGPT is making all these rounds because of the simplicity and how easy it is for users to engage with it. There's a lot of technicality behind it, but everybody understands what it does, and because it's been presented simply. So you really need to work on that. I felt like you could probably have a little bit more of a story. This really went straight into the technicality. Human beings, we like stories, right? I feel like you should try and weave a story into that a little bit. Your deck it could be a good deck for reading, but for presentation, not necessarily. I found it was a bit wordy, right? So again, you're speaking fast. There's quite a number of words on the screen. So I'm trying to read, I'm trying to listen to you, and I got lost at a few points. There was a typo. There's one slide where you spelled the word accuracy, which wasn't correctly typed. So please, if you can check that, you were short on 1C. Your billing is in US dollars. I'm not sure where your target market is. I don't know, like is this product for Nigerians or is this a global product? If it's for Nigerians or if you're starting from Nigeria, it cannot be a good idea to charge in dollars. I mean, in the last week, a number of the major banks in Nigeria stopped their Naira cards being used for any international transactions. So that's definitely going to be a big problem for you. So you need to figure that out. And that's another point. Again, it didn't really state where you were targeting, if it was a Nigeria, Africa, or a global product. I strongly agree with Lavina's points that, positioning this as B2B or B2B2C would make a huge difference, I think, in everything, your presentation, your thinking, and your approach. And finally, on your last slide, it said your logo at the bottom, which I assume was from a template which you built your deck on. So you want to check that and get that corrected. Overall, yeah, I'm sorry. Overall, I would have to give you a 3. I think there's quite a bit of room for improvement. I would have given you a 4, but I felt like the presentation before yours was more deserving of a 4. So I'd have to give you a 3 for it, but well done. And please keep up the good work. Thank you.
So it's 3 across the board, is that?
No 3s. No 3s.
Oh, sorry, it's only 4s and 5.
Yeah, just 4.
Whether 1 or 2.
1, 2, 4,
or
Okay,
5.
1, 2, 4, 5.
Can you
Wow. That's a tough call. So
pressure is
I'd
on.
have to give, go on. Yeah, so I'd have to give you a 4 then. Yeah, I don't think it's deserving of a 2, so I'd have to make it a 4.
Okay. Thank you, Una.
Are you ready?
So
I find that tricky myself.
Yeah.
Thank you, Udo. Akide.
Hi. So I won't want to waste time. I probably won't record what I said, but my focus just on the 350 initial stuff, 350,000 USD, and looking at what you want to raise in the next 1 year. I think it's a bit too probably too much at this start. I don't really know what you want to invest the money into, but honestly, I think raising 350 to probably get the kind of revenue you're looking at, you should probably work on it. And also, yeah, I think that basically also, which you need to really work on. Basically, I think you have a good product, basically a good team, honestly, and I think you guys would do well. So for me, I would say good. Yeah, I'll probably give you 4 in all 3 items, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm so sorry if I may just add one thing.
Okay.
I look at the team so well, but you made mention of, a lot of experience in data. I think you need a marketing and a sales people person design sort of that all aspects of things, because it's these 2 things, when they come together well, that makes magic. But yeah, I think you guys may need to think about that. I'm sorry if there was someone that was on the team that was there, but in the event there wasn't, and maybe have that person sort of take the lead on the consumer facing or just non-technical facing side. Thanks.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, mentors. Thank you, founders. So next in line is Daniel Livingston, and we'll get feedback from Chris, Shola, and Chintan. Daniel Livingston, and we'll get feedback from Chris, Shola, and Chintan. You ready, Chris? Are you ready, Daniel?
Yes, I am, sir.
I'm ready.
Okay, and your time starts. Sorry about that. Your time starts now.
Bubbly AI is equipping over 300 million entrepreneurs and copywriters to rapidly gain the customer traction they need by leveraging automated AI for marketing, advertising, and social engagement. There is a problem of lack of rapid customer traction, leading to slow business growth faced by entrepreneurs and copywriters as a direct result of ineffective use of social platforms, cost of creating marketing content, and poor online visibility. This problem is responsible for businesses losing a cumulative of over $150 billion globally and annually. Problem case study. Mr. Jason is an entrepreneur and startup founder. He doesn't have much time to focus on the social media aspect of his business, cannot afford the cost of hiring a social media manager / copywriter, and suffers from poor online visibility because his business content are not SEO optimized. Because of this, he is unable to quickly gain the traction his business so dearly needs. Our solution is to leverage AI to automate writing and other content tasks, autonomously manage social media, and engage with customers more effectively. We will tackle this solution from 3 standpoints, which include social media automation, AI-assisted content creation, and AI-assisted SEO optimization. Our total available market is 333 million. Our serviceable available market is 33.8 million. Our serviceable obtainable market is 1.3 million, according to Statista.com. According to Bloomberg and Forbes, the total generative market for 2022 was 13 billion, and it was projected by Forbes and Bloomberg to be going up to 422.37 billion by 2030. Jasper already has a valuation of 1.5 billion, and we are looking forward to a valuation of 2 billion in 2024. We have a competitive advantage in the sense that we are the only one who is trying to sell a true social media engagement automation platform. And in the future, we're going to be deploying a sales and marketing co-pilot platform, and we are less expensive than our direct competitors. We provide a best platform to grow your business using automated production of multiple social media content simultaneously using AI. Our product is simple to use. In 3 simple steps, you can achieve most of the tasks on our platform. In October, we acquired our licenses for GPT-3, DALL-E, and Mubert. In November, we deployed our landing page, and in December, we started finalizing our product design and started a community of over 20 business owners. We operate a subscription model. We charge between $20 and $40 for a minimum of 20,000 words and 50,000 words monthly. Users can increase their word count per month on a pro rata basis. We are looking forward to a subscription revenue projection of $2.6 million and enterprise revenue projection of $180,000+ in 2023. We are the only platform that is currently trying to sell a true AI social media co-pilot platform while also maintaining other features that our direct competitor products have, such as writing assistant, AI image generation, and creation of ads. And of course, we are less expensive. In 2023, we are looking forward to deploy our social media co-pilot to assist people like Mr. Jason. In the first quarter of 2024, we want to create custom machine learning models to personalize experiences for these businesses. And in 2024 and beyond, we'll be creating other machine learning models to customize sales and marketing co-pilots. I'm the CEO. I have 10 plus years of software engineering experience. My LinkedIn profile is attached. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Christian Jeremiah is my co-founder and is the product manager with 6 years of product design experience. Mr. Austin is our CTO with 9 years of software engineering experience, and Martina Kowalska, our marketing specialist, has 6 years of experience in online marketing and employer branding. And you can always reach out to us on LinkedIn. We are raising $650,000 to close 5,000 business customers, reach an annual recurring revenue of $2.6 million by the end of 2023. We intend to use this fund to finalize product development, execute go-to-market strategy, fund HR costs, and also launch an aggressive marketing. Thank you. You can always reach out to us at investor@bubbly.ai, or you can give us a phone call. We're also readily available on LinkedIn and on Twitter, and you can always book a 15-minute time with us to chat at our calendar link. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Livingston. Great one. Okay, so we get feedback. We get feedback from Chris, Shola, and Chintan. Chris, Shola, and Chintan.
All right. I want to love this, Daniel. I do. Your presentation's beautiful. There's a lot of cool things going on here. But the problem is, even though there may be a bunch of yeses, there are some deal-breaking no's that you have going on in this situation. So we need to get away from why people would say no. Right away from Silicon Valley, my perspective is if I'm seeing you read word for word, regardless if you're reading it or if you have it memorized word for word, what's on the screen, what's coming out of your mouth are identical. That's unappealing because it's hard. It's actually harder to track that way because if your pace is different than the person who's reading it, it's problematic. So what you really need is to do some brand storytelling. We need to say, hey, listen, here's somebody from an agency that handles people's social media. Here's a problem that they have, and here's how John Doe or Jane Doe solves it using bubbly.ai, which brings me to problem number 2. Everything I saw on the screen, such as bubbly.ai. I tried going to the website, it's not there. I tried going to www.bubbly.ai, it's not there. I tried going .ng after the AI, I tried a bunch of different things. The bottom line, that took away a lot of time me listening to you. Luckily, I did listen to it all, but that's a credibility problem. So if anybody's following it, and then I saw one screen where it had wizard.ai up in the corner, but that's a domain that's for sale for $600,000 in the US. So I'm confused whether any of this actually exists. And if you're going to be asking for $650,000, best believe I want to make sure I can see something, even if it's me looking on my phone. Right. So you have these credibility gaps that are just created by the process of the presentation. Now, that does not mean that you have credibility gaps. You may already have all these things solved, but we don't want to waste time analyzing it during the presentation and giving me a whole bunch of reasons to say no versus focusing in on the reasons to say yes. And I definitely want to see some sort of case study, better understanding what this does. You're in an extremely competitive landscape with tremendous amount of natural monopolies. That doesn't mean you're not disrupting something here. But you see, in order to be disruptive, I need to see where your competitors failed and visually see where you closed that gap in a way that's unpredictable to them. Then perhaps it's worth $650,000 as a pre-seed investment. So with that being said, score-wise, I hate to do it, progress with product offering. I think you have some progress in here. Your brand seems to be going around. I'm going to give that a 4, but I'm going to nail you with the 2 on presentation. If my business partner was here, he's nerdier than I, he would have gave you a 1, but he would have said it was a 0 for presentation just because of those disqualifiers. When it comes down to completeness of the model, I'm going to have to give you a 2 as well, because I don't know the model. So I can't justify how complete it is, but I see there's something there. Happy to meet with you in office hours. We need some brand storytelling. I think you've created some stories, but we need to tell them right.
Thank you, Chris. Okay,
Hey,
so
Living-
Shola.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, sure. I was just going to jump in. Livingstone, thanks for that presentation. I think overall there's a. I want to start with the bad so I can end with the good, so I can leave you on a good note. So the thing that was confusing for me, and I think it might have been miscommunication. You started off saying Bubbly AI is serving 300 million people. So immediately in my head, I'm thinking, oh, this guy has a lot of traction, 300 million people already. So why is he in FI? But then as you went on in presentation, I'm seeing, that you're just about to sign up 20 businesses, and you signed up 20 businesses in December, and you're trying to raise money to complete the platform. So there's a disconnect there. So you can't start off saying you already have traction when you don't have the traction. You can say that you're targeting those people. That's the target population. Yeah, it's different from a Bubbly AI is serving 300 million people. So that in itself will throw some people off. I thought that also that when you do a case study, you should start with the real person. You should put a real person there. Just put a real person, because if you've done the case study, then you've done the study on the person. Putting that didn't do well. It didn't sit well with me, because it just to me just seemed like maybe you just sort of came up with a story, sort of like a user case is what you're trying to say here, not necessarily an actual case study. So I would say if you have a case study, just put a real person there. That would do it. Many people put fake person there too. That's okay. But at least it can help relate with your case study better. I thought also that you compared yourself to Jasper, but Jasper is already on the market. So you giving yourself a $1.5 billion valuation right off the bat without even, before launch I think is a bit too much, is excessive. I think you should really rethink that. I don't think you should value yourself that high just yet. I think you have a lot of good product, a lot of good features in your product. You have good technologies, AI. I mean, that's the new thing. But don't get too excited thinking it's because it's AI. Because it's AI, you're going to value yourself at $1 billion at this stage. It's too early for you to do that. But on a good note, I thought, you have a well-rounded team. I think you're probably one of the people that I've seen so far that has like a solid team. You have someone in marketing, you have a lot of technical experience. So it's a really well-rounded team with, years and years of experience. So it's no doubt in my mind that you could pull it off, but it's just that you're saying that you're already doing it when you haven't really actually started doing it. So just work on your messaging so it doesn't come across like you're already doing the work that you haven't really started doing. And I thought overall it's a good, there's a need for it. I think it's a good market that you're going into. I think you'll do well overall. Just work on your messaging and work on the overall, style of your presentation. I thought it was good. The pace was good as well. You didn't rush too hard, but at the end, you spent too much time on certain slides. Just try to focus more on those slides that matter for investment, like your market, spend more time in how your technology would really, help solve the problem, spend more time there as well. And I think your roadmap is okay. Maybe a little too aggressive, but it's okay. I think overall you did a great job. So I would score you 2. I think completeness, I think I'll give you probably the completeness of the model. I think I'll give you 2 across the board, just because it's not punitive in any way. It's just to give you real feedback and help you sort of, make those improvements. Because I think it could easily be 4 if you just communicate it the right way and you just use the right, put a picture on your case study. I think it would really help get more credibility into your presentation and help build more trust towards what you're presenting.
Thanks, Shola. So Chintan.
Thanks, Agun.
Yeah.
So, Daniel, if you read the deck in mentor progress review, you naturally get to, irrespective of whether you have demonstrated the product, which you have not. I wonder if you have a real product or just a MVPP. When I say MVPP is minimum viable PowerPoint. I really like your confidence when you declared yourself that by second quarter of 2024, you are going to attain valuation of $2 billion US. So that was something which was uncalled for in this context right now. However, I'm literally, I couldn't follow you after a couple of slides. This is not a mentor progress review tag. So that I would like to limit myself up to this comment. I would rate you 2 across because I don't expect founders to read the deck in a mentor progress review. Yes, if it is for second session, that's fine. But by now you would have got lot many work group meetings. You would have presented to each other. You would have got these many learned co-founders. Honestly, I doubt if all of the people who have been shown in the team are working full time or just their pictures are being portrayed here. So now, whatever you say, I'm going to take it with a pinch of doubt. So this is something never expected. I actually, we had a great office hour and I was actually looking forward when my name got mapped to you. I was actually, say, yeah, this is something I'm looking forward to. But then again, probably this is not a good day for you today. So I'm rating you 2. Look forward that you would bounce back soon and make it 4. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chintan. Thank you, mentors. Thank you, founders. Just to remind all mentors, you could also rate founders on the rating link. Even though you don't give feedback, you could rate them at the rating link. The rating link has been shared. So the next in line is already ready, John Akombi. We'll be getting feedback from Bade Aluko, Daniel Steves, and Lavina. John Akombi is sharing his slides now, and we'll be getting feedback from Bade Aluko, Daniel Steves, and Lavina. Thank you. So are you ready? Akombi, John, are you ready?
Yes, I'm putting my screen on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, your time starts now.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I am John Akombi. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Crystas. Crystas Innovations Limited is building an online marketplace for African manufacturers. Our tagline is African product, our pride. The vision statement is to be the largest marketplace where quality African goods can be sourced globally. What's the problem we are trying to solve? The problem of low patronage of local products such as textiles, garments, shoes, leathers, wools, and furniture from manufacturers is the leading cause of unsold inventory. In 2020, unsold inventory stood at about 402 billion naira. The factors contributing to low patronage are poor product quality, poor marketing, and consumer perception. The solution we are trying to offer is to increase awareness of quality brands to boost patronage of local products. What is the market opportunity? In Africa, the total addressable market is $37 billion and is estimated to reach about $80 billion by 2027. The serviceable address market is $6.62 billion and is estimated to reach about $14 billion by 2027. The serviceable obtainable market is $1 million US. This is what Crystas can generate in 1 year. What is the business model? After speaking with a lot of customers and try to get feedbacks from them, we concluded that we are going to stick to pay as you go model. That is, the more they sell, the less they pay. Here is the percentage they will pay according to the sales generated. So with just 5,000 customers at launch and 20% growth and 90% retention rate, Crystas can generate more than $1 million US in the first 18 months. The projection. Here is the projection that we came up with. So in less than 1 year, Crystas can reach a positive cash flow. Who are our competitors? We have direct competitors. We have Omnibs, we have Red Cloud, we have Alazo. And then for the indirect competitors, we have Jumia, we have Konga, we have Gigi. Why are we different? For the manufacturers, because it's a platform startup, we are offering them access to raw materials, a feature that no one has ever offered manufacturers. And then for the buyers, the customers, we are offering them a quality product. So we are doing quality control for every product that is listed on our marketplace. The go-to-market strategy. For the sellers, we already started our beta launch in January, and we started our social media campaign. We're reaching out to a lot of people on social media. Then entrepreneurs associations like Tony Elumelu Foundations, we are trying to come in partnership with them so that we can onboard the enterprises on their platform. Then affiliate marketing. Then for the buyers, we want to offer them sign-up bonus. Then we want to launch a social cause campaign and challenge, and then referral marketing. Our progress so far. In December 2022, we launched our landing page. And last week, in January 2023, we started our pre-launch campaign. And to date, we have only 5 signups. In March 2023, we want to launch Crystals. Who are the team? Hi, I'm the co-founder. I have a co-founder working with me, who is the operations officer. Then we have an accountant working with us, and a communications officer. So why us? We have the passion to bring this vision to pass. And then why now? Africa's 2023 agenda is to fully industrialize and Africa's 2063 agenda is to fully industrialize and to build wealth for African nations. The ask is $500,000 for market development, to build warehouse facilities, and for trucks and vehicles financing. We are also looking for advisors, experts in e-commerce marketing and e-commerce operations. Crystals is not just another e-commerce platform. We are building wealth for Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So we'll get feedback from Bade, Daniel, and Lavina.
All right, John, thanks for your presentation. For the half of your presentation, you are doing the same problem that mentors have advised that you guys shouldn't do, which is stop reading your slide. Basically, what we are trying to say to you is that if this is, excuse me, if this is your idea, then it should be in your system. It should be something you are dreaming about, you're sleeping with. If you are waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can do a pitch. It tells us that you actually indeed knows what you're talking about. You talk about passion. That should be your passion. Being able to read you, to be able to present your idea without even having a deck. So learn to correct that. You are creating a marketplace. And I'm sorry to say that in your presentation, I'm actually unable to see what qualify you for that job. What will make me as an investor think that you have the chance to make something out of a marketplace, recognizing that even if you stay in Nigeria alone, Nigeria is full with marketplaces, online marketplaces. So what's your unique identifier? What differentiates you from the rest of the people? And if I immediately take that to your team page, you just told us who and what their supposed responsibility will be, but nothing about their background, their skills, their experiences that gives us an indication that, okay, yeah, John Akambi has done this before, or that David has done something in this regard before, that would give us the impression that these guys have experience. I remember you're asking for a lot of money. So why am I giving you that level of money? Even I don't even understand what is it that you guys are capable of doing. And that brings me, please go back to slide, I think it's 9. Keep going, please. Now, next, now, keep going, please. I just want to be specific. Keep going. Okay, I think I missed it. It was something to, as opposed to about, sorry, I missed it out, but it's a classification that you gave that makes it difficult for me as an investor to even come to terms whether you actually know how you're going to make this happen. But I cannot remember quite enough. So I'm just going to leave it there and let others make their contribution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Daniel.
Hi, John. First thing I want to say to all of the founders is that you'll notice there's a whole bunch of different flavoring of severity of comments between the different mentors, and just take that as a education lesson. I'm probably being softer than I usually am, and when I listened to the reviews of Livingston's, I found those three mentors were probably would have given different views than I had on my earlier the presentation I commented on earlier. So take these things to heart. Everybody who gives you something good or bad are only here to try to help you. But I'm going to echo a lot of what Buddy had to say. I'm going to also talk about little presentation things like the consistency of your fonts, a hash mark instead of an iris sign. You've read your competitors to me, which did nothing. You've got two categories of competitors, and I don't know what the difference is between them necessarily, or how they are or aren't. You've got a misspelling of the word entrepreneur. Why us? It has to be more than passion, because everybody has passion, and that's not what people invest in. There's got to be a lot more to it than that. As somebody else mentioned in one of the other ones, you need to have some slide numbers. The team page, you should have your LinkedIn links, as I said on the earlier comment that I made, and you should have a photo of your COO, just because this is a more complete and more engaging method of doing it. And your focus on where you're spending the money of the 500K, which is buildings and vehicles, really doesn't sound like it's a lot of money, but it doesn't sound like enough money to build buildings, because there's land involved, and to have vehicles and maintain vehicles and have driver squads and things like this. Whereas until I saw that slide, it felt more like, as on the slide in front of me right now, it's an e-commerce platform. And then that slide threw into me the fact that, oh, there's buildings, there's vehicles. This is not, you know, Amazon started with a website and ended up with fulfillment centers a long way down the road, and a lot more money down the road when they were able to have sufficient justification because of the revenues and the demand for the products from their platforms. It became an easier, cheaper way for them to do business. But starting that way is a really big ask, I think. So, and I think we probably touched on this in some of our office hour sessions. So the reading part of the presentation is the same problem that everybody has. I've been putting this down on all founders from an experience perspective. What you want to do is you want them to remember you and not spend their time reading the screen. So you need to come up with some sort of an orchestration between touching on the information that's on the screen, but filling in the background material, because I'll take the slides away with me. And if all that I have to add to them when I'm looking at them after the fact, after talking or having it presented to me, if all I have is exactly what you said and exactly what the words are, then it's not nearly as valuable. You want them to remember you, not just the words that are on the deck, because you and the team are what they're investing in. And I think, again, the size of the market, like we've had with a couple of the other presentations, you're being too excited about where it can get, and too large of a forecast for where you can get to in a reasonable amount. Just because there's 15 million businesses, as an investor at a very early stage, I'm worried about the first 1,500, not how you're going to get 1% or 10% of that market. So I see the slide as I think it's part of the template that comes from FI. And personally, I've told a couple of guys and a couple of the founders in our sessions that I don't think it really does you service, because most investors that are out there, particularly seasoned and experienced ones, as you get to further stages, see through forecasts right away. I need to understand more about how you're going to get there rather than where you say you're getting. And that'd probably give you a, let me see these numbers again up here. I'd probably give you a 2 on the product offering. And I'm still being too kind compared to some of the other guys, but a 4 on the skill of the presentation, because and that's primarily because I know I've given you a 2 before and I see improvement, and the completeness of the model, I'm going to put that one down as a 2 as well, simply because I think that the confusion between e-commerce and physical isn't clearly laid out in the presentation, and you need to do a fair bit of work on that one. Thanks.
Thank you. Sorry, Buddy, we didn't get your rating. Lavina, sorry about that. Buddy, we didn't get your rating for John Akombi.
Sorry about that.
Yes,
my rating for John is 2 all around.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. Lavina, sorry to cut you. Yeah, you can go on now.
Yeah, no worries. I think Buddy and Daniel went into quite a lot of detail. So I think I'll leave you with just a one-liner that you could possibly take away. I know that you mentioned a little bit on your niche being, the access to raw materials, which is great because you're solving the supply chain issues, and things like that. And you also addedly spoke around, vehicles and all of that. My question to you is, what is your core business? So what is the core idea? What is the core problem that you're trying to solve? Because, there's a lot of stuff going on. And from a business model perspective, it's going to add a lot of overhead. All of these things that you mentioned, kind of takes your whole product and your whole startup in a whole different direction, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I'll leave you with that thought, but happy to, to unpack it anytime you like.
So you want to give him some ratings?
Okay. So I think a 2 on the presentation, because it's the first time that I've kind of seen your presentation. And then in terms of your product offering and completeness of model, yeah, I'm tempted to say a 2, but I know it's harsh. So I'll probably just go with a 4.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, Segun.
Yes, go on.
Remember, I was trying to remember a key aspect of his presentation, and that's what Lavina actually was talking about. Listen, you say you are doing a marketplace, you want to do quality control for every product in your marketplace. You are going to die, right? Literally. Even Amazon doesn't do that. Okay, then you say you want to bring your sellers, are you going to bring raw materials so that they can buy raw materials? You are mixing too many things up. You need to pack yourself into a specific what you want to do. Marketplace is nothing new. All right, there's a lot, and like I said before, there's a lot of marketplaces. You have to understand what is a marketplace in the first instance, and what part of that market logistics can you play at. It's key. Otherwise, you will load yourself with a lot of responsibilities at the beginning. Responsibilities means cost, and cost means, and when you are asset heavy at the beginning, investors are going to run away. So all the best anyway.
Okay, thank you. So Bentos, don't forget, keep the ratings going on. So we'll move on to the next founder. John, are you ready?
Yes,
John
I'm ready.
I will be getting feedbacks from Chintan, Akindayo, and Chris. So you're ready? Your time starts now.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, hi mentors. My name is John, and my company Shark and Bango is developing Schoolmates, a school management enterprise resource planning software that will help schools manage their data and connect with their community. Over 90% of schools in Nigeria suffer from poor data management. There is so much data, so many activities, and so many users to manage. Instead of managing these manually or using multiple software, why not just use one? Not only should they manage every software on one platform, they should also be able to connect with their students, parents, and even alumni, all from the same system. That's why we're building an integrated ERP software system that has every tool a school needs to manage their business, be it a school of 10 students or one of 10,000 students. A school owner can allocate resources, admin manages student records, teachers can deliver their courses and exams online, students can pay their school fees, and alumni can stay connected to their alma mater all on one platform. The global ERP market is expected to be valued at $31 billion by 2030, even though there are way over 150,000 established schools in Nigeria alone. The undocumented informal schooling sector can easily double this figure. Our business model is simple. The school pays a monthly subscription fee to use our software, as little as $12 or 5,000 Naira per month. Additionally, we earn revenue from commission on transactions, from sponsored ads, and from offering IT-related services. Here's why we're different. We're not just offering a software, but a connected software that encourages community interactions, academic exchange, and work collaboration. To truly make this an unbeatable offer, we will also promote alumni networking, which is a sleeping giant niche worth millions of dollars. We'll be partnering with relevant associations in the market to get us high penetration and adoption rates so that we can dominate the market nationally. We launched our community website last year after receiving a $5,000 grant from Tony Elumelu Foundation. We are scheduled to launch our ERP software this very month. We're raising $350,000 to help us launch our aggressive go-to-market strategy en route to dominating the industry in a very short space of time. Please note that this figure is currently being reviewed and will be finalized in a couple of days. We're currently soliciting expert advisors, some of whom are on this call, to join us to establish a formidable team. I believe being backed by Tony Elumelu Foundation and the Founders Institute will give us an edge over competition. Thank you very much. Shadow, if you're speaking, you'll be muted.
You don't mean it. I'm sorry about that. I said we'll take feedbacks. I'm sorry. We'll take feedbacks from Chintan, Akindayo, and Chris.
All right, John, nice presentation. You could help us visualize. There are certain wireframes. So yes, there is certain things going to happen on the ground. I certainly believe that yes, you have certain vision to connect alumni, the school, the parents, the students on a single platform. This is going to be in demand because we are again entering a next wave of pandemic, and then probably we may have to go in a hybrid work mode, and this is where utilization of this platform would be essential. You are at the right place at the right time, provided you are able to roll out the platform in a given time frame. I expected that I would see certain information about when are you getting into the beta launch, how are you going to build the traction, but that is something probably still a early stage right now. However, if I am required to rate you on the product offering, I would say 4. Skill of presentation, yes, 4. You did not read the slides presented with confidence. You're doing a good job. And this goes for all the founders. All of you are doing good job. Present with command and a smile, right? Don't be shy and then get into a mode where 8th grader is getting into an exam. No, it's not so. Deliver with confidence, right? Deliver with smile. So skill of presentation, yeah, 4. And completeness of the model, because I wouldn't like to give 2. That is where I am forced to give you 4. Otherwise, completeness of the model, I would expect you to share information about when are you getting into beta, when this magic would get revealed to the citizens of Nigeria, to the students of Nigeria. We would like to see that. How are you progressing beyond graduation? We are just 1 month away from graduation, and that is to see that there is some look and feel to what you are thinking. You are not required or expected to validate your idea in a mental progress review, which everyone needs to make a note of. And yeah, overall good presentation across the board. I have rated you 4. Thank you so much. Back to you, Segun.
Thank you. So, Akindayo, yeah.
Hi, John. Nice stuff. I think I'm very much familiar with education because I've been around this industry in the last 7 to 10 years. I worked with secondary schools both in Nigeria and in the UK. So I understand what you're doing, but one thing I'm not seeing here is that I'm not seeing your progress. Honestly, I know you got a grant, but I would expect that there will be a little bit of progress. And building an ERP at the start is a very huge thing, honestly. So my thinking now, I'll say probably expecting a module that if you build this module, you've tested it, because the biggest validation you'll ever get is our customers, honestly. If I know that you're a founder institute, so the Limited Foundation has given you money, but the biggest validation are the paying customers, people that are on board of your platform, that are using your platform, which I was expecting to see, and I didn't see that. So I'll say, focus more on building. Thanks that you have those network with Catholic, you have network to work with the school owners in Nigeria. But honestly, traction is one thing I think you should focus on, because there are loads of softwares out there, like you are shown in your competition. I remember some guys were trying to get me to help them penetrate into those schools back then, as in trying to help us to get into these schools. And that's in the big giants in Nigeria, the big software companies, and they are ready to give anything to get into that same space and market space. And our advice is just quickly test on your product so that you don't keep spending money. And it's going to show, it's going to give more, it's going to show that you know what you're doing, and investors will want to invest in, because you've had a traction, you've had paying customers, or you've had at least customers, even if they're not paying much, at least you have customers using your solution. And probably take it gradual process. Instead of building all the modules at once, why can't you build, let's say, managing of their data, their records first, and launch it to the market and let them use it first. So once you've had success rate on that, they can move to the next module, you move to the probably exams, move to every other stuff, which I think would help you and will give you the assurance, will give investors that, okay, fine, if we put this huge kind of money, we know that this guy have let over the few months or years, and it won't probably waste our money, kind of, which is major thing that investors actually look out for. Great work, basically, but I didn't see the progress thing in here. I like the passion, I like the enthusiasm. Great work. I can drop in during the office hours to probably see how we can work together, because I've actually worked directly with schools in Nigeria and I understand what it is, and I've actually, a lot of people have actually approached me to help them to, because I used to have relations with schools back in both in Abuja, Lagos, and other places to probably sell some of the solutions. And there's a lot of competition out there. So you need to be able to have one unique selling point that would differentiate you from all of those guys. Thank you.
You need to score in. Chris, sorry, before you come in.
Yeah, no problem.
Akinda, you need to score.
Okay, I'll say for the progress made, I'm coming, sorry, quickly. Because I didn't see the what's it called, the progress report offering, I'm going to be giving you 2. Okay. Nice skill presentation, I'm going to be giving you 4. Completeness of model, I'm still it's a little bit shaky for me, honestly. I'm between 2 and 4. But I'll give you 4 for that, and hopefully that we can work towards getting better on that.
Okay, thank you, Chris. You can shoot now.
I like this. I really, really do. I've heard a lot of presentations in this particular sector in Nigeria, but I have not heard this yet. So first eyes on it, I'm going to give you a 4 across the board. Now, the problem is when I start poking around in there, that could jump to a 2 real quick. I don't know if that's a jump off the cliff to a 2 real quick. Now, a couple things that caught my eye that I didn't like. I don't think you're a seed stage investment. I think you're pre-seed, and it's important to actually put that in perspective, because the barrier of entry, if you qualify in your mind that you're a seed investment, you're going to need to have a lot more on the table to get a seed stage investor, including some actual things that are impossible based on your traction dates to already exist. Okay, so we want to look at getting in front of the right investors, because I think you have a little bit more going for you than the average ed tech coming in the pre-seed stage, which means you'll have an advantage of being a larger fish in a smaller pond. That's what you want. I want to see more logos on this. I want to know which institutions have said yes. What I really love about this, though, is the narrative that you have about involving with alumni. You know, I technically never graduated college. I have enough credits, all that, but I'm also a person that is running the largest alumni network for my school. And in that equation, the university has their own network. I decided to create my own. I started on Facebook, and it became more powerful. Guinness Book of World Records' largest reunion is happening because of it. So tapping into the alumni network slightly outside this school is a very powerful element. But if I didn't get the school saying, all right, this is cool, and then vouch for me, it wouldn't have mattered as much. So I want to see some schools in there that are going to use this. And I want to see like an actual demonstrative case of this being in place in order to ask for the amount of money that you are, which isn't outlandish. It's low for a seed. It's high for, you know, it's kind of a weird number for a weird stage. But in order to see that, I want to see some actual traction. I want to make sure that you have something in place. I want to be able to log into a platform, toy around with and all that. Perhaps you have all that, but if you don't, we need to fix what you're presenting for. All right. So I want to do office hours with you. I would say this is probably my favorite presentation of the night. My emphasis in 2023 is focusing on the education space in Africa. And my philosophy, very simply put it, is an investment in education in Africa is always worth it. So we want to make sure that we can get you to a presentable thing. I want to make somebody like you a case study. So I need to have some questions answered. Let's do it in office hours.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, so we'll be moving on to the last presentation for tonight. If you see your schedule, Afolabi happens to be a co-founder, and so his co-founder has already pitched. So the last presentation will be by Emeka Ebichidi. You can bring down your slide.
Sorry, quick point, Sagan. Did we get numbers from Chris's view of the numbers?
Yes, he gave him an all 4.
Ah, excuse me. Thank you.
John, you can bring down your slide. So let's. Okay, so Emeka. I will be getting feedback. We'll be getting feedback from Ouna, Daniel, and Bade. Emeka, your time starts now.
My company, Zutobai, is a handshake between e-commerce and trust. We started with Show Your Trade e-commerce platform, and we had a limited momentum because the trust issue made some of our customers not to buy. In fact, I still have a friend who does not buy online. And this affects between 30 to 125 million Nigerians and West African consumers. The problem really is that people really lack that confidence that they will buy and they will not be defrauded, or that their product will be delivered, or even when it is delivered, they will get exactly what they bought. And then there's no platform where I can actually want to sell something. I want to exchange my good with another without actually using money. And so what we're trying to do is to enable trust by certifying our sellers, providing some reviews and ratings, and then an extensive customer service. Then we'll partner with an escrow, logistics, and insurance company to help us give our customers more confidence. On top of that, we would introduce artificial intelligence through some virtual assistants and chatbots, and then add some virtual reality and augmented reality just to make the shopping a little more interesting. And we want to add a trade by barter system. I haven't really seen this happen, where I want to exchange a particular product with another one that I want with someone else who wants what I have. We currently have 500 sellers, and we have registered zootobuy.co and then .com. We're working on the front end at the moment. And with this roadmap that I have presented, I look forward that eventually we'll be able to really hit the market. So when you hit the product eventually, there will be a virtual experience where you can walk through, and then a chatbot or a virtual assistant, either a human voice or an AI, will speak to you and help you make your purchases. And if you want to check your product from home, whether it's a shoe or a gadget you're buying, you could actually test it with artificial intelligence, with augmented reality, just to make sure that it fits before you buy. And then you also have the traditional marketplace, like you will always get in e-commerce platforms. You select the products, add it to your cart, and then choose a delivery service that works like Uber, and you can track your delivery as it comes to you. And eventually, our big spending will be on a complaint center where we'll have, of course, virtual assistants will be there, but live chats, phone calls, email supports, and complaint tickets, just to make the customer comfortable in buying. Like I said, we have 500 sellers, and if we continue like this, maybe in the next 1 year, we'll just have additional 500 and maybe 100 transactions, which is really, really going to be bad. But with all of this upgrade, look at the numbers. By the end of 1 year, we would have made 240,000 transactions. If you reduce that, that's 5,000 per week. And you would have made 30,000 sellers onboarded on our platform, which is 625 per week. And we're looking for that would have registered 600,000 products, that is 20 per seller. If you drill down further that, you realize that we would have gotten 125 sellers per day, which is possible because I have actually tested this in my previous experience and I realized it's possible. And 20 product listed per seller, which is really, really achievable. And of course, 8 sales per year per seller, which is ultimately achievable. With these customer acquisition models, about these 10 different marketing strategies, at an average $10 per customer acquisition, we are so certain that we would hit this target market. We're hoping that in this next 1 year, we would have made $1 million from commissions on sales, with 10% on basic, 7.5% on premium, and ultimate 5%. They would enjoy a lot of these other benefits. And looking at this market, in Nigeria alone, it is $7.86 billion market. We're looking forward to get a $1 billion share of that in the next 5 years. Our customer landscape is quite interesting. Other than providing high trust parameters, we are also going to provide a robust customer service, which is currently lacking or is not as robust as you have in Jumia and Konga at the moment. It's going to be super interesting. And with our planned artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and augmented reality, we hope to take this to another level, more so with our trade by barter system, which will make people exchange products. I'm a software developer with over 7 years of full stack development experience and 10 years of leadership experience. I have a managing director who has a marketing experience, a web mobile developer also on my team, and a product fulfillment director. We're looking forward to employ between 8 to 12 additional staff to help us take this product to the next level. We have about 5 directors, you can see their names, advisors, who have really helped us form this product to where it is. We're looking for $200,000 to be able to make $1 million in the next 12 months. And with the roadmap I've shown you, you've seen that it is possible. That is the breakdown of how we're going to spend the money, especially with this $75,000 for customer acquisition costs. I look forward that you invest, and I thank you so much for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Emeka. So we'll get feedback from Ouno, Daniel, and Bade. By the way, Emeka, you were touching right there on 5 minutes. Okay. So Ouno, Daniel, and Bade.
Okay. Thanks for that, Emeka. So there's quite a number of things I liked with your presentation. I really liked how you broke things down, and I like your unit economics. I like your breakdown of your spend. That's pretty good. You have a very applicable background to this from the other thing that you built. So that's also a big plus. And it does show that you have some experience and some understanding there. The fact that that didn't work out is possibly a plus for me because I feel like I believe that sometimes you learn a lot more from failures than we do from successes. So quite happy with all that. On the flip side, your presentation started out talking about trust and e-commerce, but when you went into it, I worry a bit about how much that you are trying to do. I feel like there's the core product that you're offering is not very clear. And I worry that, it can seem like you're trying to do a lot at once. And that's a little bit concerning. There's the infamous story about Google. And when we're first testing out their search, I don't even know if this is a true story, but it's something that's sort of gone down, like a fable almost. But they got the first users on and asked them to test out the product, and everyone sat there and was waiting and just didn't do anything on the screen. And the question was asked, like, okay, guys, can you go ahead? And they're like, oh, we're waiting for the screen to load. The point there being that it was such a clear focus product. They started with search, built out the search product very well, and built products on top of that. I see, you talk about trust, you talk about the AI, you talk about the customer service center being exceptional in that area. You talk about the virtual shopping and sort of 3D AR sort of shopping experience. These are many, many different things. I do see the opportunities in the trust, in the gap in trust in e-commerce in Nigeria. And I think that alone as a product, has a lot to grow and to there's a lot of room for that. You mentioned escrow as well. Okay, I see your comment here that it's a product roadmap. Okay, I don't think that was very well communicated. It just seemed, like a lot you are throwing at us at once. So overall, in terms of ratings, on how far your product has come, again, I didn't see a previous version of the product, so I'd unfortunately have to give you a 2 on that. I just don't feel like it's laser clear at this stage, and I think it could sort of be better now. I think the next metric is on the presentation. I really liked your presentation. I felt like it was very engaging. You didn't read off the screen. You spoke from the heart, so I really like that. So I will give you a 4 there. And then completeness of your model. Yeah, I'm sorry to be harsh again, but I would have to give you a 2. I do think that there could be a lot more focus on what you're doing. And then for you and, all the other founders out there, as entrepreneurs, we have the ideas, we have the energies, and it's like, oh, we can do this, and we can do that, and we can do this, and we can do that. And it's always good and it's great. But, you have to think about sequencing very well. One problem I have personally suffered is having, when you're trying to build these multiple things at once in one business or one product, you can have 1 or 2 working very well. And, you can have the black sheep child. And when you're bleeding money out from one side, no matter how well the other 2 sides are going, it's going to pull you down. It's going to pull morale down. It's going to split your focus and your attention. And obviously, you want to take care of the guy that's bleeding out. But then the other guys that were doing well start to suffer because they don't get as much attention. So that's something to note. For this presentation as well, if I may say again, I don't think you needed more than 1 slide to show the product roadmap and where this can go. And I think if this slide focused on the trust components, if the presentation focused on the trust components, I think I would have given you much better ratings. But that's it overall. But well done, and best of luck. Thank you.
Okay, so Daniel, buddy.
Thank you very much. Mute is off. I make a good presentation. We've spent some time together in the mentoring sessions, so I have some knowledge that I'm going to say I didn't see in the slide deck that we'll get to as I go through it. SDG 8 at the first screen doesn't mean anything, so either explain it or get rid of it. You need to slow down a little bit. I think we discussed that if you need to pull out a slide or 2 to do that, you had pretty good definition of what you're talking about. You weren't just reading off the screen, so that's great. And here I am saying when I tell people not to say The competitors, when you take a look at the competitors that you've listed, you have most of the ones that are there that are in your space, and you talk about what they're doing versus what you're doing, but don't expect that some of those big guys you're going against aren't going to do exactly what you're doing. Like VR and AR, presentation of products will be on their roadmaps. So it's only a differentiator in terms of what you're planning on doing versus not knowing what they're planning on doing. So that might be contradictory to some of your audience. I would say that trust is absolutely a great word. It's a great selling point. It's the problem that you need to sort and solve, but there needs to be a little bit more detail about that. You might push away the discussion of the barter part of the option right now, because it takes you away from talking about the core things that you're working on, the fact that you have an existing platform that you're building on. The customer service element, you have to remember this is very expensive. And the reason why you can't get hold of anybody on the phone from Google or Amazon or Facebook or any of the others is because they've eschewed that service. So you need to come up with a way that you're going to show how you can be able to deliver that effectively and inexpensively. I think you're missing, and this is again from my knowledge from chatting with you, you're missing a huge element of your customer acquisition, which is your offer for easy onboarding of brick and mortar who aren't using e-commerce. Your platform that you have built and own is quite capable of doing that, bringing them into your e-commerce shopping mall. But it's not really coming across as one of the features. And I think that that's pretty significant in terms of getting real traction with customer acquisition, and building up a bunch of local businesses that already have trust with customers and letting them go online is a strong way to do that. The other element, when you talk about ratings and reviews, pardon me, when you talk about ratings and reviews, there needs to be something more in there that makes me feel better about that. Because frankly, I look at, and I've said this to you before, I look at Amazon, I see 5-star reviews, which are people writing huge long stories about how something is so great. And I wonder, why are they writing it, or were they paid to? And then I have the bottom level of the 1-star where people just poo all over a product, which is bad attitude, and then I've got 2, 3, and 4 in between. But if you've got things that are proving verified purchases, verified purchasers, and reviews that come up with a stronger way for me to trust them, will help you to deliver the trust that you're looking at enabling in this. I think things like escrow, logistics, e-insurance, and barter should be on the roadmap rather than as a specific answer of your solution. I think your solution should talk more precisely about what you're doing first. So VR and AR might come later. And AI, when you're talking about it, the virtual assistant, it doesn't really come out exactly what it's going to do. So a lot of people watching this or looking at this might feel that you're just using the buzzword because you're not explaining further. So if you cut out some of the other things and put them onto a roadmap, it allows you a little bit more time and screen space to put precision in about how those ratings and reviews are going to work, what a virtual assistant means, and it'll make quite a big difference. Again, I'm still a little stressed about the expense of customer service, because you can easily have a call center with 40 people answering 100 calls a day each, and that just sucks up resources. So that combined with chatbots and AI is a better way to do it. And if that's what you're planning, it doesn't come out clearly enough on the screen. So I'd give you a 4 and a 4, and for the completeness of the model, because technically it's too complete, and which takes away from the core of what you're talking about, I'll drop that one down to a 2, but it would be a 4 overall. And last point is, I'm listed as an advisor, and I know we've discussed that, but I'm not certain, I don't recall saying yes, absolutely yet. So you need to be cautious that you only have names there that insure it. I mean, first of all, it makes me look biased from the point of view of reviewing you, but we haven't come to a finalized arrangement or agreement on that, I don't recall. So you should just not jump too quickly. Thanks.
You know, Chris, I was thinking of, Daniel, I was thinking of stopping you from doing the review when I saw that, but you know, I trust all mentors. Okay, Buddy.
All right, thanks. I think Kouno and Daniel has done a lot of justice to to Emeka's presentation. So I'm not going to be on the good side. I'll be on the need to be side. Now, I want to step back a bit and review what you presented. Your experience in e-commerce before was a thing of joy for me. And when you concluded that trust was the key problem where you are not having traction, I was elated. So I wanted to see how you're going to solve that trust problem. But then I'm sorry, from there, you just went to buzzwords. You were like, I want to go to the moon. Okay, yes, I'd like you to go to the moon, but how are you going to get there? You didn't say anything. All right. On trust, the only thing you mentioned is escrow company. How does that solve trust? Incidentally, I have experience in e-commerce trust building startups. So I understand how they are solving trust in e-commerce. All right. You did not say anything about any of those things you mentioned. You basically like telling us from your head what you plan to do without any concrete steps on how you want to do it. At the end of the day, even when I look at your traction, you are purely talking about e-commerce as it is today. So where does all those experience that you gathered, where did you go to? I believe, quite frankly, that you are right about the problem of e-commerce, particularly in our geography, Nigeria, specifically, and Africa in general, that trust is a key problem. But you haven't solved the problem. And you have not given me any comfort that you even have a solution for the problem. You just have ideas, and none of the ideas have been moved further. Based on your presentation, I'm talking specifically based on your presentation, because I have not had the opportunity of talking to you prior. But from what I hear you say this evening, you haven't moved the needle from where you were before. You appear to be doing quite a lot, or don't let me say doing, you appear to be wanting to do quite a lot of stuff. If you look at the trade by barter business, it's a totally business on its own. There's no way you're going to combine that with an e-commerce business. All right. Then you want to go to augmented reality and virtual assistant. Those are good ideas, but there's nothing today that you've demonstrated that shows that you even have a clear path to achieving them. So there's nothing wrong in you having a future direction. All right. If you have a future direction that you want to do, concentrate on what you have done today. And because you put a lot of appetites in our mouth by telling us that you want to start with trust, you want to solve the problem of trust. That, I assume, should be your focus of this presentation. We already know you have experience in e-commerce, and it hasn't done well because it does not have traction. And you've identified the problem to be trust. So this presentation should be about how are you addressing trust? And if indeed you plan to address trust through escrow and insurance company, tell us specifically how you're going to do that. And I can tell you for a fact that most startups who are addressing trust today are not using escrow. They are using the concept of escrow, but they're not using third-party escrow. They're building an infrastructure for escrow within their business. And that is really where what will determine whether you know what you're talking about or not. Yes, I will also be available to do office hour for you on this, but for me, that's the key element. The experience that you've gathered, you've not been able to translate it into something meaningful for me as an investor to say, okay, now you know the problem, but you're not solving it as far as I'm concerned. All the best.
Thank you, buddy. You want to rate him?
Yeah, sorry. So on that regard, I rate you 2 all through.
Okay, 2, 2, 2. So thank you, founders. Thank you, mentors. Before we do the Q&A, we've got like 12 minutes to go. So I think I'm going to get the permission of the MD. Is Lady A in the house? Okay, she's not in the house, so I'll do this. I want to say, if each mentor, there's probably one founder you really like, you really want to say something about his idea, but you didn't give feedback. So you want to pick one founder just for 2 minutes, you're just going to say something about the idea. Most likely one founder you did not get to give feedback on. So are we ready? I guess we understand that. I can't time the mentors. I can't time the mentors. So please, I'll plead with the mentors. Just make it, quick 2 minutes. Pick any founder you just want to say something about his presentation, his idea, and all. Should I start with ladies, or should I just?
Well, you can't be sexist. This is 2023, man.
Okay, so so Chris, you want to go first? You know what? I think I'll take it alphabetically. For the mentors, I'll take it alphabetically. So I'll probably start with Chintan. Just pick one founder and say something for 2 minutes.
So given chance, I would like to rate Amika because I had office hour with him, and then we actually dissected the entire presentation slide by slide, and that was totally different. And he understands what were the gaps and which was the improvement we pointed out. So having looked at his last presentation around a week ago, I would suggest it's a great improvement, but nonetheless, it's not 5. But yeah, if I'm required to rate him, I would have rated him 4. Thank you. Back to you, Segun.
Thank you so much. I should have, B comes before C. So it should have been Bade first, but I don't know what happened. I guess because he spoke last. So I'll go back to Bade now. Just pick any founder of your choice and just say something.
Segun, don't worry. It's not all of us that went to school.
Age before beauty.
Was that too much?
No, it was just 3. I love that. I'm gonna use it on someone else someday.
Don't forget, quite a few mentors have gray hair, so we have the liberty to say it as we say it.
I did say it. I love that.
Right? So, all in the spirit of FI Abuja Fund, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The founder I'd like to talk about is John Akombi, Krista. All right. I wasn't one of the people that reviewed Krista, but the point about him that I want to talk about is the uniqueness of including alumni in the education phase. Every other startups that I've seen, particularly in Africa, that is addressing software as a service for education institutions excludes alumni. And the reality is that I think probably almost all of us who are alumni are engaging one way or the other informally with the school. We raise money for our schools all the time. We try to create programs, but those are all totally out of the space. So I think it's a good idea, and that could actually be your differentiator. So if I were you, I would concentrate on how to harness that as quick as possible. You could include, for example, the alumni association's ability to make their contribution online, and they can earn income from that contribution. So for me, that's the unique value that you could add, and I would like to see you add more value onto that. Secondly, I think one of the mentors who reviewed you did mention to you, you're piling quite a lot of things that you want to do at the same time. All right. You are a technical person. I'm also a technical person. You cannot develop application as fast as you want to do. So you have to determine which is the key product, or in this case, module, that can give you the quickest traction with the intended customer. And that's what you should do first. And then you lay the other ones as a feature plan on and put some progress plan along your path to see how you're going to achieve that. But I think adding alumni into it could be a game changer for you. Work on that more.
I think Bade was referring to John, Shaq, and Bango. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sorry, John.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Chris, you want to go on?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about Mr. Ghana from Outliers. You know, what I like and I didn't get to comment on this earlier, is the focus on entrepreneurship education. You see, yes, I'm very involved in FI, Techstars, all that stuff, but I'm also on the International Advisory Council for the Ngumba Leadership Center down here in Nigeria. And with that, the entire focus is entrepreneurship. And there's a disparity there. And what I like is that you know your space, this kind of foodie space that you're in. And there's a lot of organizations in America. I'm even an advisor based in Denver, Colorado, to a food accelerator. You know, they're developing products, food products that are on the shelf. Everybody wants to be global now, but even in America, there's a disparity. So let's find some places in the US that would be kind of partner destinations and stuff for what you're doing. And let's make the LOIs there. Just like you're teaching soft service, soft education, and stuff like this, let's make some soft relationships that give some validity to what you're doing in Outliers. I know I can deliver it because think about anyone in America that will look better because they have associations with somebody in Africa doing something similar. Just like there's sister cities, you want to make sister alliances with other organizations in your space. And I think you can do that. And then it'll immediately move you forward. I read the article that was on PR Nigeria. I love that you have relationships there. It all looks good, but let's actually make it look like it stands up to the hype that comes from the articles, because I already think you're there. I just don't think it looks like it yet. Okay, which may be a humility thing. I'd rather deal with somebody with humility issues than ego issues. So let's do office hours and let's get something done with that, my friend.
Okay. By the way, I'm going to say
I'd give it
this.
4 too. I'd give it a 4 across the board.
Okay, great. Bade, you are correct. I have some issues with alphabets. So Akindayo is an A and I didn't pick him. So I'm going to take it back. I'm not doing this alphabetically. I'm just throwing it in so I don't get some bashing from Bade. So Akindayo, please, pick any mentor, 2 minutes, say something about the mentor.
Yeah, so thank you so much. I think I'll comment more on Abubakar Ghana also, the Outliers. I think we're doing well. I founded a company that does something like that, but focus on B2B basically, and it's a very great thing. And then I like your story about the NYC. I faced the same kind of story, same kind of issues while I was in this thing. And I remember that the problem that many young Nigerians have basically are skills. And in the last couple of years, and we've been able to work with international partners. And trust me, MasterCard Foundation is rolling out some things in the next couple of years and stuff, looking towards upskilling young people. So one of the things that it can help for traction, which has helped many people, and if you can work with what's it called, organization I want to sponsor. Like I know traditional partners like to sponsor people, B2B kind of stuff. Say, hi guys, can you train these guys for us on this kind of particular course? It can help you with traction, and it can help you to quickly build your rapid, your prototyping thing, which I think is very good thing. You need to look at that basically, and connecting people to job opportunities. Imagine looking towards say that you want to train people on maybe WordPress or website development, and link them to what's it called? Tap into John Luzor's database of supporting school owners with free websites. So you're training people, you're linking them to job opportunities, which is going to be like, wow, this is a very good thing. So it's not just about upskilling young people. Of course, it's upskilling people, and you're linking them to job opportunities, which is something that you can look towards. And sometimes, to me, I think traction really counts. Honestly, basically, traction really counts. And one of the things that you need to look at for is that how do you guarantee quality in the kind of people developing the course content, which is something you probably need to. I'm not sure I'm not sure I listened to that basically, but you need to look at that. Say, how do we guarantee quality? I remember when we were trying to get a course content platform at some point, and we had to buy into Pluralsight. We bought Pluralsight for $20,000 USD because we're working with African Development Bank at some point to train over 2,000 people in some several soft skill stores. And then we came back to realize that those guys, I said there was a lot of difference between the course content Pluralsight was offering at the time with what the reality of Nigerian guys looking towards learning. And internet was a very big challenge. So you need to look towards that and see how far you can close the gap. We can do probably office hours and see how we can, because of course that's the space right now, and work with a lot of most of our clients have been international partners, basically people that are looking towards upskilling, just like the way, of course, Europe guys will say the EU government will sponsor people towards skilling and linking them to job opportunities. We can actually talk on that if you think it's something you're open to. Basically, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So next up, Daniel.
I see that one's actually the next one in alphabetical order, so well done. It's about time. Lady A and yourself both said mentors, you can rate any mentor. Now, I know we're rating the founders, but I do want to make a comment about the mentors. I mean, Betty and Chris, I really appreciate, I appreciate that you are more harsh than I am. And it's not typical for me to be less harsh. I'm harder on the ones that I've spent time with in office hours with, but I think your criticisms were very much on the head. And I want to warn all of the founders that none of us, me in particular, are going to be nice guys next time around, right? There's the further you go through this cycle, the higher the expectations are, the more perfection we expect to see, the more improvement we need to see, which is a very important point. So while I may have sounded critical of you guys being harsher, that's not what I intended. Chris, I appreciate your you and I have the really solid, and Chintan as well, really have the out of Nigeria perspective. I know from what you said, Chris, you've got more actual Nigerian experience than I realized. And I think that I was hard enough on the guys that I spoke about, that I have spoken with, but I like the style. And I mean, I try to be encouraging because it's easy to break spirits, but I also want these guys to get, and ladies to get, to a reality perspective. So I'm going to touch briefly here now again on Daniel, on Livingston Daniel with Bubbly AI. Now, he and I talked earlier this week a couple of times. So the site issues that Chris pointed out are new because of suggestions that I had made to him around naming and around how he's going to represent the business. So, and that's not to make an excuse, because he should have got that sorted out. I think that there's a lot more strength in this product than and a lot more uniqueness in it than is necessarily coming out in the presentation. So I think that I really want to see some improvement on that stuff, Daniel, because I think that the great potential is there. I think that it's nice because it's using the hot stuff today and it's using it in a slightly different way. So we want to see that. Emeka, I think I was pretty clear to you on my comments about what you need to do with Zudabai to tighten things up. And all of the other comments from every one of the mentors on the panel here with me, there's not too many that I would take an exception to. I would only agree and amplify and tell all of you guys to take everything to heart. It all matters, okay? The only reason you're getting criticisms is because we want you to go out and make it rich so that we make a buck off it, right? Because as it works out with FI, there is the potential for profit down the road. So we need to have successful businesses to have that. And even if there weren't a buck on the line somewhere along the way, it's still the same thing that we want for you, because it's going to create employment, it's going to create economic value for yourselves locally and internationally, and make a big difference for Nigeria. Ideas like Chris was saying about getting partners in different places applies more than to just the outliers. I think it was outliers. And if you guys have listened to people that have given you harsh criticism and have said that they have experience in your sector, if you do not approach them for office hours, you're making a big mistake. So follow up with those people. Follow up with the people who have taken the time to care enough to give you negative criticism, because it's really easy to say, oh yeah, that's nice, that's sweet, that's cute. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to turn you into solid businesses, not to make you feel good about yourselves. You make yourself feel good about yourself with all of the input that you respond to. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So we'll take from Shola, then finally from Owuno.
I think I'm going to talk to Emeka. It's not so good feedback. We've done some office hours, but I wasn't impressed really. I thought your presentation was a bit informal, so it made even the audience lose focus on the value proposition. There's some real value to what you're doing. I like the barter system. I know it will work. I've worked with Amazon before, Amazon Logistics, and I know what logistics, how to get that trust. I know you know how to build trust. You didn't really touch on any of that. You didn't touch on the delivery assurance. You know, you spent a lot of time just more, you talked about trust, you talked about barter system, but then you really didn't touch on all the things that will help you sort of establish or achieve what you're proposing. I thought that, you know, you could do a lot. You could present this idea a little different. Don't be too informal with it. I know you want to be comfortable, I know, but what it does is also it takes the attention away from what you're presenting to you. And I thought that happened today because I've heard the idea and I know that there's some value to what you have. I know you mentioned the escrow, and I thought you were trying to use the escrow as the angle to build trust and also show your team page by, you know, trying to highlight some advisors. That wouldn't really help you establish trust or anything or credibility in this industry. I think you talking about what you had mentioned to me before about your delivery assurance, you know, how you can build trust through delivery assurance. You didn't really talk about that today. That would be a plus to your idea, because if you're really going to build trust, you started off talking about why people lost trust in e-commerce, but you didn't talk about how you will help build the trust through your delivery assurance and also through, you know, your returns. You know, you have those different key elements that you never really mentioned today. So I think going forward, you should focus on those ones and try to highlight those key things in your presentation and your idea that will help, you know, solidify your value proposition. I think there's a whole lot to what you have based on what you've described. And then also, we didn't really finalize that advisor thing that you mentioned to me. So I think, you know, showing that here, it doesn't really, you know, it wouldn't help you in any way. I think you should just be more of just focusing on what would help you establish credibility with your audience, with the investors, and will help you launch your idea. I would focus more on that delivery assurance, aspect of your value. I think, you know, since we only have one, that, you know, I like a few other, you know, ideas here, but since we only allowed one, I'll just talk about the feedback for you and what you can do to just, you know, change things around going forward, so you can get forward. It's not even the scoring here; it's about how much you can achieve when you actually get in front of people that are going to invest in your idea. Could you convince them enough with what you have to get them to say, you know what, I'm investing in this idea? So going forward, I think I would focus on that. Just make sure that you really, really nail on how you would establish trust. Trust is an issue, but how are you going to do it? You know, you delivery assurance is that you never mentioned anything about that. You didn't even mention anything about your return system. You didn't mention anything about your product offering, how you would sort, you know, your product. You know, there's a few other things that I think you could have mentioned today that you didn't even touch on, you know. So, but I think there's next step. So good thing is that you're getting some feedback today. The good thing is also that you have more time to build out and get things ready for investors.
Okay. Thank you. And finally, Owuna.
All right. So, so thanks everyone again. And just to all the founders, it's a tough, hard journey. Like what you guys are doing is not easy. Like to wake up every day and to get it, you know, it takes a lot. So, you know, kudos to that. Again, the criticism here, I believe that as an entrepreneur, you kind of want to get into a space where, I don't want to say nothing is personal, but separate your ego from reality or from the idea, right? So if you think of something, like never be afraid to, you know, have an idea be poked for holes. If you really, really feel that it's a good idea, then when it's poked for holes, if there's a hole, you find a way to plug it. And if that hole is unpluggable, then maybe you go back to the drawing board and, maybe your idea was not so great after all. So it's one lesson I've learned on my journey. And, I really encourage all entrepreneurs to try and get that. Now, speaking specifically to people, let's start with Emeka. So Emeka, I want you to just consider something a little different. The trust product on its own as a B2B product could be something that works. There's a company called Verify Me, which sort of does verifications. And it's a service that a lot of recruitment companies use. And essentially it's in Nigeria now, you're hiring staff, you're hiring household staff or company staff. You kind of want to do a background check. And we know that our system is not sort of digitized to the level that that's easy to do. So Verify Me kind of does background checks on people. Now, they didn't try to do that and be a recruitment company in the same breath, right? They just focused on that one core thing and did it very, very well. So, something to consider, building a trust product that you can sell to other marketplaces, other e-commerce websites, and that kind of stuff. It could be simpler, it could be faster to scale, across Africa. It's just something to think about. Then I want to speak to John as well. I'm in the 2-minute limit. I haven't done 2 minutes. So, but very quickly. So John, with the education software, one thing I would really advise you engage with actual schools. The reason being that one big problem that schools face is finances, right? And the challenge with schools is they collect money at the start of the term, inflation kicks in while we're in the term, and you've taken money for meals in September, and by October, the rice you budgeted for is now 20% more expensive. So schools really struggle with that. Another thing is the insecurity in Nigeria. I know firsthand that schools are very, very sort of they have wish lists of what they want, and like security systems are part of the things on their wish list. The point I'm getting at is there have been a lot of people that have attempted this sort of digitization of school management, and I don't think the success rate has been as great as it should be. It sounds like it should be, right? It seems like your reports and your teachers and your schedules, everything should be online, organized in one place. But for some reason, the traction doesn't kick in as much. And I think that understanding the challenges of the actual schools, the people that you want to pitch to, is very, very key. So I definitely push you to start engaging schools and find out what they really feel about this. And, the people that have pitched to them before, why haven't they taken it on? And then again, maybe pick one module and start with that and build on that. And I know we are very short for time, but my last one for the marketplace, I would really beg you to really reconsider what you're doing. Because Christas, you can pour a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of resources into this. And I honestly think that I think that the idea, I don't know that it's going to work. Marketplaces are very, very difficult to build. You're also talking about procurement, quality controls, many things inside of the mix. I just advise you to just really, really think about it and look at it again. This life, we have one life, there's 24 hours in one day, you can't get it back. Don't try and be sure of what you're pouring your effort and your energy into. As you grow older, it gets harder and harder to do that. So, don't take it lightly that you have this energy now. Just be sure of what you're building, right? And just try and refine your core products. On that, I will tap out. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you. I'll hand over to Lady A now. Are we still going to have the Q&A? Lady A, it's over to you.
Q&A from the founder. Yes. Yes, I believe the founders will have some questions. So at least let's give them the opportunity.
Okay, founders. Anyone with a question? The mentors had so much time talking to you guys. I see smiles, I see expressionless faces. Any question?
Okay.
None. Okay.
All right.
Lady A, it's over to you.
Yeah, all right. So it's been a wonderful session with a lot of very, very insightful feedback from the mentors. Thank you, mentors. Eternally grateful for all that you do for FI Abuja and founders. We also acknowledge your hustle and all the sweat. But like I always say, entrepreneurship is not an easy road to tread. So, but the advantage of being in this program is you get first-hand feedback from entrepreneurs, seasoned experts who have been, who are experienced and have been down this road before. And so, you know, we're happy to see you take the feedback and, you know, work on the feedback. And so for those of you reading from slides, this has been feedback, you know, being given to you on and on. And so we want to see an improvement in that going forward and for the rest of the sessions. And wishing you all the best of luck. I know you're feeling a bit lonely, but because it's just the 7 of you left, but you are the ones who have sort of, you know, braved it to this point. And, you know, the journey of life, you know, happens for everyone at different stages. So I'd like to see you all continue to the very end. And the mentors, thankfully, will be all setting up office hours. So listening attentively, carefully, and making your notes, you should know who you should gravitate towards, you know, to help you package, you know, your startup, you know, going forward from this point on. So I hope that you've noted my advice and my comment. And we're an earshot away. The team at FI Abuja, you know, we're on telephone, WhatsApp, and then office hours. So I'd just like to say, just keep at it, keep at it. You are, and the FI network is a wonderful and robust network that you can lean on, you know, at any point in time. So congratulations. And so by tomorrow morning, we should have the ratings out. And hopefully, you know, we have you all staying in the program. So thank you for your time and effort so far. Thank you, mentors, you know, as well. We're very, very, very grateful, yeah, for joining. I wonder what time it is out in India, Chintan and Daniel. Okay, Daniel, though, Daniel is in Europe. Well, at the same time.
It's 2 past midnight, 2 minutes past midnight.
Grace also from the US. Ooh, such huge
2 minutes past
sacrifice.
midnight isn't 2 minutes past midnight isn't late for those Indian guys, though. They're just getting their days started.
Right? They walk around the clock. Okay, so we're so grateful for your time with us. Yes. And we look forward to continuous engagement. By the way, we have a big announcement. We just signed up with a sponsor, and we'll be running an energy vertical. That's vertical cohort. The next cohort is in sector. So for those of you mentors who are interested in, you know, giving support and mentoring, you know, we're looking forward to interest cutting across the whole spectrum of the energy sector in line with government energy or even global agenda for energy transition. So you're welcome to sign up. We'll send you letters, emails during the week or by early next week. Yeah. All right. So founders, do have a happy night rest, everyone, and keep up the good work. Well done and good night. Thank you to team members, Mr. Shegun, Catherine. Well done. Bye for now.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night, everyone.
It's a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Just a quick note to John Uzo that Daniel is not in Canada. He is Canadian, but not.
Oh.
But he lives in Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
See you later.
Good night.
Bye, Daniel. Good night. Well done, team.
Okay. John, Daniel is on. Daniel. Okay.
I'll put him in the waiting room.
Okay, great.
Okay, so that was a good one. I hope we got all the scores as much as possible.
I got all the scores.
Okay,
all of them.
So enter them now. Yeah. So, but so far, I think they've showed the improvement. It's just to,
Some people are doing, but I don't think it's bad that there are seven of them now.
Left.
Yes.
We usually have like 8 or so. We've been doing 8, 8, 8.
I don't
so
think
this is
it's
the first time. It's just I don't want this number to drop more than this. I beg you.
Then, Ma, I think we need to do something about the internet in the office there.
You people should come and speak to the people, or except we look for new office and move out.
I think we need to, because it wasn't good at all.
We have talked and talked and talked. We even went to.
Catherine, were you able to record?